This is RJ, and I'm here for Living for the Moments, and I am here with Angie. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. I just woke up, so.
Hey, join the club.
Me exhausted, but.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about myself. Tell me a little bit about yourself, not myself. Yourself. Who you are, what's your name, where are you from, and who do you cosplay?
Well, my name is Angi Viper, and Hi, Birdie. You just freaked out right there. My name is Angi Viper, and I currently live in Burbank, California, right down the street from Walt Disney Studios, which is like a total dream of mine. I was born in Texas, which is where I actually consider home, because when I was 10, my parents moved me to New York, and I hated it. So I don't consider myself a New Yorker. I consider myself a Texan or a Californian, even though, you know, I barely lived in like, I technically lived in New York for longest, but I'm not a New Yorker. I've been cosplaying since high school.
How did you get into it?
Well, back in high school, it was like a major anime nerd. That was all I cared about. And I remember my mom used to, like, get so mad at me because all I wanted to do was read manga and watch anime. And I was into Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, and Sorcerer Hunters, and Angel Sanctuary, and, like, all this crazy stuff. And my grandmother's really religious, so she was, like, convinced I was going to go to hell and, like, it was the spawn of Satan because I'm reading all these series that were, like, really dark and graphic. And my mom was pissed because she's like, damn it, you live in America, read an American comic. She's like, you've got Spider-Man and Batman and Superman and, like, anything. Read anything from America. And I was like, I watched the animated shows when I was a kid, okay? I'm gonna find it now. So Spider-Man came out, and my mom bought me the, like, Spider-Man compendium, and I was like, why am I not reading American comics? So, like, all of a sudden, this, like, passion that I had when I was, like, 6 came back, and I was like, Mom, do you still have my X-Men comics? And she was like, yes, thank you, read these, here, take them, I don't even care. So I was making costumes from, it was a lot of anime stuff because that was kind of what people were more into at the time. There wasn't really a lot of, like, Marvel and DC cosplay going on back then. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of, like, Sailor Moon and Final Fantasy games and stuff.
That's when I started into the convention cosplay industry in 2011. And it was Sailor Moon and Naruto. That was the two big, like, everywhere you saw was Sailor Moon and Naruto.
It was very heavily animated, because that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah.
Was, like, it was popular in Japan, and they cosplayed characters from their series.
Yeah.
And as it became more and more accepted here, it kind of transitioned to where, you know, American comics were being cosplayed more.
Yeah.
So back in high school, it was very much anime, and then I went away to college, and I didn't have a sewing machine. I didn't have any knowledge of how to make costumes, how to work with fabrics or anything, because I didn't have my mom there. Yeah. And I kind of dropped out of it for a while. And when I got back into it 2 to 3 years ago, it was finally acceptable for, like, comic book costumes. It wasn't just video games and anime. And I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, you're,
Don't get me wrong, I still watch some anime and I read a couple mangas, but it's really just stuff that's, like, lasted through time, you know? Like, I still love Sakura. I've got a Sakura costume upstairs I'm going to be wearing to Anime Expo this year. Like, it's still there, but X-Men's where it's at.
Yeah, your Hydra, Hell Hydra cosplay is what caught my eye.
Oh, thank you!
Because I think
that was a pretty special one for me, because I really like Viper.
Yeah.
I mean, Angi Viper, what up?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where I found you at, but I just know I was looking through cosplayers and I was like, hey, it's Hydra. And I was like, I had to send her a message.
Hell, Hydra.
Okay, who all do you cosplay?
I mean, the thing is, I'm getting back into this from a pretty long hiatus. I mean, it was a good, 4 or 5 years that I was not cosplaying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to, at this point, go back and do all of the things that I always wanted to do, but I didn't have the capabilities or the time or the money or, people didn't really, care. It wasn't, accepted at conventions to cosplay these characters. So one of the first costumes that I did when I came back into it was the Phoenix, because she's my favesies, and I'd always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to just buy, the eBay suit. I really wanted to try and do something different and do it a little better. So that's one of my favorites. I did Catwoman because I basically spent my entire life wishing I was Catwoman. So, I got passes for San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've heard those are really hard to get a hold of. I was talking to a cosplayer, and he said, he's been trying to get San Diego Comic-Con tickets for, 3 months, and he can't get them.
It's impossible. I just happen, I work in the film industry, so I just happen to be lucky enough. I've got a bunch of friends that work in film and get complimentary, industry passes.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't always have someone that wants to go with them, so...
Gotcha.
All right. I just happened to be lucky enough that last year I had a friend that was like, hey, I'm going to Comic-Con, do you want to come with me? And I was like, oh my god.
Yes.
Yes! Forever yes!
When it comes to your outfits, your cosplay outfits, do you make them?
I do. I try to make everything that I possibly can. There are certain pieces that it's just I either don't have the knowledge or the confidence in my ability to create well, or I just can't. And then there's some things that it's the time constraints, the amount of time and energy that goes into making costumes. There's certain things that you're just I just don't, gloves, for example. I can make gloves, I have the ability, but by the time you finish an entire suit, I'm I just buy them. They're just white gloves. I don't care. Just buy them. And then shoes, I'm I can't make shoes. I mean, I'm sure I could, but... And I don't really like to just automatically go for boot covers, So I try to find shoes that'll work for all of my costumes.
Gotcha. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
What'd I do?
I don't know. I thought I interrupted you.
But yeah, most everything I try to make myself. My dresses are all made myself. My superhero suits, I make all of those myself. I hand sew on all of the logos so they look nice and sit flat on the suit and everything.
Alright, what was your favorite cosplay?
I don't know. That's the hardest question. Because here's the thing. I'm not a cosplayer that just, does whatever. The characters that I do are all characters that I'm very passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I care about a lot. And I put a lot of thought and a lot of time and energy into knowing about and making perfect the costumes that I make. So it's kind of, for me, that question is kind of who's your favorite child question?
Yeah.
They're all my babies and I love them so much. I can tell you ones that stand out are the Phoenix because that's one that I've wanted to do my whole life. So finally getting to do that and do it the way that I wanted was a big deal for me. I just finished a human aerial costume, which I've been asking my mom for that costume since I was like 3 when the movie first came out. So finishing that was like childhood dreams fulfilled. And then if I had to absolutely no choice, Angie, pick one, it'd be Catwoman.
Sweet.
Because I've idolized her my whole life. I've modeled a lot of my attitude and the way that I move and act on the animated series. So putting that suit on is just very natural for me.
All right. Your fans out there, what cons can they see you at this year?
I will be at Anime Expo in like 2 weeks. I think, something like that. It's the beginning of July. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con, which is 2 weeks later.
I hate you.
I will be at Long Beach Comic-Con, which is right after Halloween. And Kamikaze, which is sometime this year. I have no idea when. I'm like the worst at planning things. They kind of just like, I'll flip my calendar and I'll be like, oh, that's what I'm doing next week. Oh, and D23. I'm going to D23, guys.
I don't know what
I'm going to D23. I'm so excited. Oh my god, it's the Disney convention. I've wanted to go since I was like knee-high to an anthill. I remember when I was itty bitty. And I was like, Mommy, I want to join the Disney fan club, D23, ah! And my mom was like, nah, it costs money. And I was like, bitch. But now I can go. And oh my god, I'm going. I'm so excited. I'm wearing a brand new costume. It's gonna be amazing. Oh my god, I love Disney. I love Disney.
Okay. What drives you to cosplay?
My fandom. I mean, it's like I said earlier, I only cosplay characters I really, really care about. So, what drives me to cosplay is something about myself that I found in those characters, if that makes sense.
Yep, something you can relate to.
It's people who I've always wanted to be, and cosplay gives me the opportunity to be them. Even if just for a day, you know, I get to wake up and be Catwoman, or be the Phoenix, or be Ariel. And these are people who I've wanted to be my whole life. So it's just, it's very exciting for me to get to explore that aspect of myself, because cosplay for me isn't just putting on a costume, it's becoming a character. And I work really, really hard at really emphasizing that. Get out of the trash, you shit. I work really hard at trying to portray a persona and a character, because for me, cosplay is absolutely about bringing someone who you've seen in fantasy, you know, in animation or comic books, into the real world, and really everything that entails.
Okay.
So, I mean, I repeat myself a lot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right, I have 2 final more questions for you. Assuming money was not an object and you had the skill to do it, what cosplay would you do?
I have one. Okay. I have one. I actually have a bunch that are like, I've got like a little list on my whiteboard that's like, when I win the lottery costume.
What's the one on top of the list?
And I want to tell you so bad, but I can't, because I don't want someone to steal it.
Oh,
it's like the coolest idea ever. And
Oh.
it's awesome. It's amazing. It's a video game character. I will tell you, it's a video game character, and it would involve a transformation. That's all I'm gonna tell you. People are free to take that however they want. But that's all I'm gonna give you. Because it's such an awesome idea. And seriously, like, you'd be disappointed if somebody did it wrong.
Okay, my final and last question for you. What do you have anything that you want to tell your fans out there that follow you on Facebook and follow your work and follow you at cons?
I guess I just want to say thank you. I mean, really, like, I've never been, like, popular or, like, the pretty girl or, like, the cool girl. Or, I mean, like, I was the nerd in high school who, like, everybody was kind of nice to because I was nice to them, but they didn't really like me. Nobody really wanted to hang out with me. All of my friends were Asian because they were the only ones in my school who cared about what I cared about. And coming back into this, I mean, I saw that cosplay was becoming a thing, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll make a Twitter so people can see my stuff. And, you know, people kept asking me for a Facebook page, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll make a Facebook page. I mean, whatever. I never in a million years thought that anyone would care as much as they do about my work, because it's just, I'm not doing it to become famous or anything. Like, I love the characters that I cosplay, and it really excites me. And to have other people get excited about that, just, like, I get really emotional about it, because it's so sweet to me, and that it makes me feel amazing and so blessed. And
well, thank you from my side. Thank you for your cosplay, because it's really enjoyable to me to see all these cosplays and like see how much work y'all put it into, and that's what I want to show. That's the point of this interview, is to show your fans that that there's more than just putting a costume on and going to a cosplay. That you put
so much more to it. I mean, it really, like, you see me at a convention, and I've always got a big smile on my face. I mean, like, unless I'm, like, playing, you know, a character at that moment, you know, I got a big smile on my face. I'm always happy and excited, you know, and because going to conventions isn't just about cosplay for me. Like, I'm there because these are things I care about. I'm meeting artists that I've always admired. I'm meeting the writers of comic books that I've been reading since I was a kid. You know, I'm going to panels with people who I just idolize. And, you know, it's so exciting for me. And I go home and just pass out. Like, you have no idea how exhausting it is, because I'm there being super excited because it's my fandom. I'm super excited because I'm wearing a costume I've always wanted to wear. You know, I've got people coming up to me who are excited to see the costume that I'm wearing, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm excited and you're excited. This is so awesome. Let's be friends. You know, and then it's just, and then all of the energy that went into preparing for the convention and making sure every detail of my costume was perfect and everything fit right and everything was in the suitcase, you know, and that I put everything on correctly and nothing fell apart, is like, it's just exhausting.
Well,
but it's so much fun, but it's exhausting.
Yeah. That's what I've heard from a lot of cosplayers. It's just like, because you're there from open to close just about, and so, but
yeah, it feels this big, you know, and like some of the least breathable fabrics you've ever experienced in your life. Some of those costumes are so heavy, and they're so tight. Like, some of them, you've got corsets on some of them, and you're spending the entire day like,
I can't breathe.
You know, it's exhausting. Like, my friends know there's like a 2-week hiatus after a con. Every time I go to a con, I come home and my friends are like, "Hey, Angie, you want it?" No, never mind. I'm literally like, I get home and I'm just like, for like 2 weeks, and they'll come over and they'll be like, "Hey, let's hang out," and I'm like,
I'm like that. I'm a con goer, and I'm like that even after a con. Like, I requested off for work for Dragon Con. I work in a bakery full time. That's that's my job.
Wow.
Yeah, I work for a grocery store called Publix, and in the bakery.
No Publix.
Yes, and like I requested off. They're like, "Why are you requesting 5 days off for Dragon Con?" I was like, "Well, it'll take me a day to get up there, and then like it's gonna take me at least a full day to semi-recover from Dragon Con." Okay, this is my first Dragon Con, and like I know I'm gonna be like going like fanboy crazy the whole entire time. So
yeah, like I know I'm gonna be exhausted, guys. Just accept it.
So, but okay, excuse me. Does anything you want to tell people who you have any advice for fellow cosplayers or people who are looking into getting into cosplaying?
I mean, the best advice that I can give to someone who's, you know, sitting at home kind of wondering, oh, do I want to do this? You know, I'm nervous or whatever. The best advice I can give is just do it. Because, I mean, that was kind of my attitude when I got back into it a couple years ago, where I was like, you know what? I want to do it. I'm like, screw it. I don't care if nobody cares. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do what makes me happy. And the response that I've found from the community is just, it's inspiring. And it inspires me to keep going. Because so many people, like, even when I have a costume that I'm like, I really want to do this, but it's just killing me and it's driving me crazy. And this piece isn't working right, and blah, blah, blah. The community is so encouraging and so enthusiastic that I'm like, you know what? For you guys. I'm going to keep going for you guys because you want to see it. Let's do it. And then by the end of it, I'm happy. The people that are seeing it are happy. You know, the response at conventions is always really passionate. I've made so many friends and, you know, met so many great people, and everybody is so nice at conventions. I've never met a single person.
You should come to Dragon Con.
That was like a jerk to me, or mean or rude or anything. And even if I've seen it like happening to someone else, there's always someone there who's not afraid to go up to that person and be like, dude, you're being a dick, you need to back off. Because everybody's just so close, you know. Yep. We're all there for the same reasons.
I know one of the last cons we had that I went to, I'm not gonna put the con's name out there. We had an incident at the cosplay contest, and there was a girl who was cosplay. She was trying to put this in a political way. She was African American, and she was cosplaying a white girl, and
okay, yeah.
Somebody made the smart comment that she shouldn't be cosplaying that.
Oh.
And I literally almost ran because the cosplay world, like, they may just have props, but those props hurt. Like, those people, like, they literally, like, it was just like a army of cosplayers just like, you say what? And I'm like, yeah, exit stage left. Because I ain't watching murder. So, but... Alright, okay, well, I'm done.
I'm being that mean. I just don't...
Yeah, like, I mean, it's cosplay. You can do, I mean...
Yeah, you're allowed to have your fandom, and you're allowed to want to be whoever you want to be, just because they're not the same skin tone as you, or the same race as you, or the same, you know, age or height or build as you.
I've actually been doing...
Do what you want to do what makes you happy.
Yeah,
That's always been my motto.
I'm actually about to do my first cosplay, and it's gonna be from the guy from High School of the Dead, and like I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head because and it's a weird name, and I never can pronounce anime names, so it's the fat guy from High School of the Dead. So.
That's exciting! I'm so excited for you. Oh my god. I get really excited when other people are like getting into cosplay. Yeah. That's you can take this away. from this interview.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yes, I am.
People out there who are thinking about getting into cosplay, come talk to me. Because I will root for you. And I will encourage you. And I will drop everything to help you and give you tips and pointers on things. Because I want you to cosplay. I want you to do what makes you happy and what you want to do. So come say hi to me. Be like, I'm thinking about getting into cosplay. And I'll be like, do it. Let's do this. Hang out. Whatever.
Alright.
I'll give you epic hugs, man. Come say hi to me. I'll be like, you freaking rock, man. Yeah. Because I love that. I love it.
Alright, well, thank you, Angie, for getting up this early in the morning to do the interview with me. So, is there anything else you want to add? You ever played the game?
Like video games?
No. It's a thing called the game. Every time you can never win the game because if you think about the game, you lose the game.
Oh, I just heard about that like a month ago.
Yeah. So
Somebody said it on like Reddit or something, and I was like, "What the hell is the game?"
I hate you. Shut up! Stop!
You don't know about the game?
Stop!
Everybody lost the game. And
Yeah.
I was like, "You're an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't like this game."
Well, I will give you a big advice. Next time you go into a con, go into the dealer's room or just one big room and yell the game. And people will go, oh.
Love it.
No. Alright, well, thank you again. I'm RJ from Living for the Moments, and this is Angie. Signing off till next time. Bye.